Stupidly small actions that are easy to repeat over and over again have the power to change your life. And in this video, I want to share 9 ideas for tiny, low effort, 1-minute habits that are so small that they could even feel like silly to do, but when you do them repeatedly, will make a difference. Number 1, whenever you stop at a red light, rewire your brain with loving kindness. So studies have suggested that loving kindness can do things like reduce self-criticism, reduce anxiety, reduce depression, reduce anger, reduce resentment, and improve emotional regulation skills, empathy. And usually when you do loving kindness, you're like sitting there formally doing the practice of loving kindness for 10 to 20 minutes. But that's not how you have to do it. Instead, when you are driving, you're doing your daily commute and you hit a red light, use that as a really obvious cue to send love out to the drivers around you, or someone you love, or an acquaintance, just like you would in a loving kindness meditation. All you have to do is, in your mind or out loud, say, may you be happy, may you be safe, may you live with ease, and let those phrases sort of fill you with warm feelings that you direct towards others. This habit is one of those tiny habits that's immediately rewarding. Like immediately when you do this, like if you do it right now, you will notice that it feels good. You'll notice yourself relax a little, like you can breathe. And because the reward part of that habit loop that you're probably all familiar with is so strong, and it's such a small, quick, easy, low effort habit, it's really easy to keep on doing it. Number 2, downgrade to the ad version of Netflix or Disney Plus, your platform of choice. And whenever you hit those 30 or 60-second ads, treat it as a time for intuitive movement. I don't know if this is worldwide, but in Australia, all of our streaming services have added ads in unless you upgrade. But those ads are only like 30 to 60 seconds long, and you get 4 ads per hour. So it's not very intense. Use those ads as a really good, obvious, meaningful cue to sit back and ask yourself, like how would I like to move my body right now? One day you might find yourself doing like a gentle leg lift. Other days when you have more energy, you might find yourself getting up and doing like a jog on the spot. So there are 2 positive effects that you could get from this. Number 1, even small amounts of movement can have a really big impact. They've shown that 5 minutes of walking every hour or so can affect your blood pressure levels. It can affect your blood sugar levels if that's something you struggle with. Tiny little exercise snacks are associated with lower cardiovascular health diseases. But also, benefit number 2 is that when you do this, you'll probably find yourself watching less TV because it's a pattern interrupter. You'll get up and you'll do your movement and then you'll be like, do I really want to keep on watching TV? Is there something else I want to do? Whereas when you're just sitting there zombied out, it's easy to just keep watching. Idea number 3, whenever you open social media, set a 10-minute timer. You guys know that I'm not all about restricting and getting rid of things at this stage of my life. Unless you have a hyper addictive personality, you can use social media mindfully. You can set up a little shortcut on your phone so that whenever you open any social media app, a 10-minute timer gets set. And when the 10-minute timer goes off, just ask yourself, how much am I enjoying this? Am I having fun? And get really mindful and pay attention to how you feel in your body, how your head feels, whether it feels more scattered because of social media, whether you're actually feeling delighted. I've talked about this habit to death because it's changed my relationship with social media, and it's such a small, easy habit to do. As someone who loves a TikTok scroll, to this day, this has been one of the only ways that I've been able to consistently reduce my social media usage in a way that feels like natural and easy and not very effortful at all. If you want a full video on how to be more intentional with your social media usage, I created a whole video that really deep dives into it and talks about my journey and talks about the things that actually have worked for me. It's in my video titled, If You're Wasting All of Your Time, You Need to Watch This. I'll have that linked below. Number 4, when you are standing next to a stranger, whether you're in line at the grocery store or you are waiting on your coffee, make an observation out loud. This is another low effort, high reward potential habits. Notice something in your environment, like, oh my God, like how good is the matcha here? Pay a compliment, your shoes look incredible. Ask a question, oh my God, have you had the cheesecake here? Because it's like really good. In the words of Joe Kahane, the author of The Power of Strangers, never underestimate the power of even the most minute positive connection. And if you have some hesitations around this, they have actually studied the power of connecting with strangers with those tiny little minute interactions. And people almost always report that these tiny interactions lift their mood, and this is especially potent on bad mood days. So if you feel like trash, these little minute interactions make a big difference. But also, people are almost always willing to have a little chit chat. Like, you underestimate how much people are okay with those little interactions in safe environments. People are up for it. Who doesn't love a little chit chat? My autistic people in the community are like, I don't know actually. If you have autism, like how do you feel about those little minute interactions? Let me know down in the comments. Number 5, as you brush your teeth at night, count your kindness for the day. Once again, tiny habit, huge impact. So they actually got 71 female students to do this. Interesting that it was only women. But these ladies weren't asked to do any extra kind acts during their day. They were just asked to count the amount of kind things that they did during the day. I do feel as if you would be slightly influenced regardless to do a few more kind things. But I still don't see that as a bad thing. All of them became happier than they were at the start of the week just by counting their kindness. And 21 of those women not only became happier, but became like significantly happier. It made a really big difference to them. This is one of those like why not kind of habits. Like it just doesn't take very much effort to think through your day and be like, where were my kind acts during the day? You can do it as you're brushing your teeth is always a good cue. I also think a good addition to this would be to count the moments when other people showed you kindness. I think that's just like a good little add-on. Number 6, when you feel yourself procrastinating on a task, set yourself a 1-minute timer to face the resistance. The procrastination cycle is really strong, and whenever you put off a task, you are in a weird way rewarded. Like your brain is like, thank God we got to put off that task. And that reward can feed the cycle of procrastination. So to interrupt the pattern, whenever you notice a feeling of resistance, a feeling of procrastination, a feeling of like, well, I'll get to that later, instead of forcing yourself to just do it, which often has a backfiring effect and sometimes increases resistance, set yourself a 1-minute timer to just face your resistance. So you might even just journal on the resistance for a minute. You might just open up everything that you need or get out everything you need for that task and just like think about it for a minute. Write down a few baby steps that could get you started with that task. To do this, I use the resistance journal template, which is part of my Calm Productivity Notion pack, but you can also get it as a standalone product. It has a whole bunch of different little journal prompts to help you to manage feelings of resistance and procrastination if that's something that you deal with in your life and you want to break the cycle. The goal of this is just to do something that breaks the procrastination cycle. Number 7, when you get home from work or when you finish work, put your phone in a lockbox. This is the easiest possible habit that could have potentially huge rewards, especially if you're someone who spends like 3 hours a night scrolling on your phone. You can get an actual legitimate phone lockbox that looks like this from Amazon if you want to invest, or you can literally just have a phone drawer that you put your phone away in. It doesn't have to be that intense. You'll sleep better and you'll use your afternoons in ways that are more beneficial for you. Number 8, when you notice that you're distracted, go on a 1-minute walk. Do you know when you're supposed to be working or getting something done, but actually you are flicking between Facebook Marketplace, the thing you're supposed to be doing, your emails, your social media, over and over, getting nothing done, but sort of feeling like you're doing something. Instead of doing that, when you notice yourself in that distracted state, when that cue appears, get up and just walk like around your house for a minute. This is a habit trigger that you have to learn to notice. So you have to actually learn to identify like, oh, I'm distracted right now. But even that little tiny practice can be life-changing if you're someone who's easily distractible. Once again, those little exercise snacks can make a big difference. Number 9, whenever you do your future self a favor, log it. When you have a good relationship with your future self, when you and your future self are tight, you are looking out for them, you care about them, your life gets easier. And one easy way to start building that relationship is to start logging the favors that you do for your future self, whether it is doing a little tidy of the house, prepping for the next day, working out, meditating. You could use the little board from the Calm Productivity Pack to do that, or you could just use a little notebook. Start to build a log of evidence that you are looking out for your future self. If you like this video, you'll probably like my video on 9 low effort ways to upgrade your life. I'm going to have that linked on the screen as well as down below. I appreciate you so much and I'll see you soon.